Hey y'all, it's Lindsay. It's time for an afternoon cup of coffee, and I thought, what goes better with afternoon coffee than a chocolate coffee cookie? I made some chocolate coffee cookies about a week ago or so, and I want to share that recipe with you right now. In my stand mixer, I am going to beat together 3/4 of a cup of softened butter and 1/2 cup of softened cream cheese. You can also use a bowl and a hand mixer or even a wooden spoon. Once those are well combined, add in 3/4 of a cup of a brown sugar alternative. I like to use the Swerve brown sugar. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 1/2 teaspoons of instant decaf coffee granules that have been dissolved in 2 tablespoons of almond milk or coconut milk. Once those are incorporated well, add in 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I have 2 cups of my homemade baking blend. I'm going to add about half of that to my mixer, allow that to incorporate, and then add the rest. I do have a video showing how I make my homemade baking blend mix if you are curious about the ingredients for that recipe. Make sure you don't forget the salt, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Scrape down the sides of your mixer and your paddle attachment. Wrap your cookie dough in some plastic wrap and leave in the refrigerator for an hour or 2 so it can firm up. Take your chilled dough from the refrigerator and divide it into some manageable pieces. You will want a parchment-lined cookie sheet available as you roll out your cookies. I divide each section into 10 individual cookies, yielding approximately 40 cookies per batch. Roll them into a ball shape, mold them into an oval, and flatten them down a little bit. Repeat the process until all of your dough is shaped into small cookies. I was inspired by a pin on Pinterest for these chocolate coffee cookies that were shaped like coffee beans. The original recipe called for white flour and regular brown sugar, definitely not keto friendly. So I created my own version of that, but I really loved the little shape that the original recipe created, and that is what I am imitating here. To get the indentation on each of the cookies, I'm going to use a skewer with a straw around it. If you had a chopstick, that would make a good sized imprint. Press your skewer or your chopstick into the center of the cookie about 1/3 of the way into the depth of the cookie. Repeat until all cookies have been imprinted. These cookies will not spread, so don't worry about getting them too close to one another. In an oven that is preheated 350 degrees Fahrenheit, place your cookie sheet and bake for 9 to 12 minutes. You want the edges of the cookies to be firm and the bottoms to be somewhat set. Let the cookies cool completely. With completely cooled cookies, we are ready to dip the cookies in some chocolate. You can either use melting wafers like I have here from the Bake Believe brand that are sugar-free, sweetened with stevia, or you can use 1 cup of sugar-free chocolate chips mixed with 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. Take a cookie and dip it 1/3 to 1/2 deep into the chocolate and then rest it on your parchment paper to fully set. Carry on until all of your cookies have been dipped, and try not to lick your fingers if you get chocolate all over them. It's the end of the evening and I finally finished my cookies. Typically this process probably takes about maybe 2 to 3 hours if you include the chilling time, the cooling time, and the dipping time, and then letting these little delightful morsels cool completely after you dip them. They are absolutely adorable. And this is an ugly one. I think that there are some much cuter ones here. This little fella right here is a little bit rounder. I'm gonna taste test this little fella because he's unattractive. They are dense, they are not dry in the least, they're not crumbly. The crumb there is quite nicely packed. It's almost like a brownie cookie with a hint of coffee. While the dipping chocolate is definitely optional, I think it adds a lot to the flavor. It adds a lot to the experience for having a different texture. So this is delightful. I like to store these cookies in the refrigerator. They last about a week before they are completely gone, so I don't know if they would last longer in the fridge than that. I've had them last for over a month in the freezer. It's been a great cookie to have for those moments when you're just craving a little something and you want to be portion controlled. I just pull a couple out at a time when I want to have a little afternoon snack. I'll put 2 on a plate, 3 on a plate maybe if there's kind of the smaller size, and let them thaw on the counter for, 5 or 10 minutes, and then enjoy them with my hot coffee. I actually only have about 3 of these left right now, so I'm gonna go eat them and have to make more. That's what's gonna happen there. Thank you so much for joining me. Leave me a comment down below if you try these out, and I'll see you in my next video.